Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my desktop. This is Andrew with Tech Monster Gaming. I'm going to be doing a nice little tutorial and tip video for those new gamers out there who, just like me, might have went from their Xbox or PlayStation and decided to start up a new PC, and you want to make sure that your system's all ready to go for gaming. So first things first, you want to make sure that if you get your brand new system and you got yourself this nice new video card, is to make sure that your drivers are up to date. So we're going to go ahead and get GeForce Experience. If you haven't already, I highly recommend it, especially if you don't want to look online for your drivers yourself on the Nvidia website. So go ahead and go onto that and grab it. It's a nice little place, helps you optimize all your games and keeps your drivers up to date, and I would recommend that. And I'm using ShadowPlay right now, which is a nice little desktop capture device that does not take very much performance out of your system while you're recording, and they just came up with a desktop capture, so that's what I'm using right now. Once you get that going, go ahead and download that driver update and make sure you're all good to go. And we're also going to go to the Nvidia control panel, so right click on the desktop, hit that control panel, and we're going to check out some settings. Up on your left hand corner we got manage 3D settings, which you're going to find under this section right here. Go ahead and compact all that. So this is just what you want to worry about. We're going to make sure that everything, just to start off, to make sure you have all those really good frames per second and everything is nice and smooth. You can tweak it back up to image quality after you kind of get a feel for your system, and if you want to feel like your system will run better anyways. We're going to go ahead and make sure all these settings are okay, and we're going to do some Battlefield 4. So starting off at the top of the list, we have ambient occlusion. Go ahead and set that to performance mode instead of quality. It doesn't really make that much of a visual difference. It kind of takes it just down a little peg, but all in all, the level of quality in your ambient occlusion kind of goes off of your own in-game settings, which is in Battlefield. I think that's the HBAO, SSAO type deal. Anisotropic filtering, also going to be application controlled instead of overridden in the control panel. That will be set in game, and it just works all around better instead of adding it on. FXAA, I would recommend just turning it off, because it's just an extra level of anti-aliasing that you do not need, and frankly it kind of makes things look a little hazy in my opinion, so just go ahead and keep that off. Anti-aliasing gamma correction says select on to improve the image quality and color of your 3D images. So we're going to go ahead and keep that on. It'll give it a little bit of performance. Anti-aliasing, we're going to keep that application controlled as well, because you can change that in-game instead of having to go back to the control panel. Setting as well, application controlled, that's going to be set that way. Transparency, you can kind of adds a little bit to the niceness of it. Giving it better performance, would be off. But if you feel like your anti-aliasing isn't good enough and you're still getting some jaggities, I would try setting it to multi-sample, and if you want to kind of raise it up a little bit, but especially if you're using a high-definition monitor like a 1080p, you won't really need anything above the 2 times. You won't notice it because of that pixel density, especially if you're using a 1080p simple, maybe a 21 to 23 inch monitor. You'll have to like put your nose up to the screen to tell the difference. CUDA GPUs, it'll be all kind of just leave it that way. Just don't ask why, because I probably won't know either. Pre-render frames, application setting. If you do have multi-display like me, I have a single 1080p monitor, which is my gaming, and on my left I have a 1600 by 900 from 2003, an Acer monitor that I kind of use for my, my nice little workstation monitor for when I need 2 screens. So I would just set it to single display performance, because you're not using the 3-way setting like I am. Power management, you definitely want to have it to maximum performance, because it's just like the other ones that you would find inside your Windows settings. It could either be battery saver if you're on a laptop, performance mode, you want to make sure you're on performance mode, otherwise it will not let you get all that performance out of your card, and you definitely need that. shader cache, put that on. If you are having trouble with disk space, then you definitely want to turn that off, but shader cache definitely makes things improve load times and loading screens, especially if you're playing games like Grand Theft Auto. That definitely helps. Well, yeah, in general. Sample optimization, let's turn that on for higher performance with a minimal loss in image quality, so that's a good deal. Always want the better performance to make sure you can run those games smoothly first. Negative LOD bias, allow that. Texture filtering, you can either set that. I would prefer the middle ground for performance, but if you really want to make sure, hit high performance first and just kind of bring it up to see how much better your system can do. Trilinear optimization should go on. Threaded optimization should be on auto. Triple buffering will be on. Vertical sync adaptive. Vertical sync will lock your frame rate at about 60, but if you go anything over 60, that's when it'll set, and it'll turn off VSync if it's under, because if you're under 60 and you end up, your system gets killed on VSync, you end up getting locked at 30 frames per second. That's not fun. You need as much to squeeze out as you can, so adaptive would be great. So if you have all that, that should be good to go. And then I'll probably see you in just a moment on our Battlefield 4. We're going to see how everything looks. Alrighty, lads and gents, here we are in Battlefield 4. We just changed all of our settings to performance mode to get as much out of our graphics as we possibly can. So we're going to jump in and we're going to see how it works. I'm going to be playing on a 64-player server, and 64-player will definitely take a lot out of your system. You'll need as much juice as possible. So let's see how it turns out, huh? Let's see. Let's take a look at our settings just to make sure. And we are at Ultra, 2x MSAA, anti-aliasing, and our ambient occlusion is HBAO. I could go higher and go to 4x MSAA, but that's not really necessary, just like I said with the pixel density. Let's see, let's turn on that boost. Let's see, everything looks nice and pretty. I'm not seeing any issues with frames per second. Look at that. Those edges would be getting all jaggedy without that anti-aliasing. And I'm not seeing any issues. Everything looks nice and smooth. I'm loving it. Okay. Can we jump over? Guess I can't jump, apparently. So my guessing right now is that I'm probably running this game anywhere from 70 to 80 frames per second, because especially this level isn't exactly graphically intensive. Still can't get over this ledge, huh? It's weird. How about now? There we go. So as I said, if you're having issues with anti-aliasing, that is definitely a graphics killer, so turn that down or off, and you'll definitely see a nice little jump in your frames. I should not have died there. Also, your ambient occlusion, the HBAO and SSAO, that can also be turned off if you're having issues, and that should put a jump. Usually games nowadays have a nice little feature that it will explain as to what settings are graphically intensive and what settings are CPU intensive. And my i5 3570K is absolutely beautiful when it comes to gaming. A nice little 4-core processor. It'll handle everything, and I'm overclocked to 4.4 gigahertz. So got a nice juicy CPU. So that's definitely not an issue. So yeah, everybody, if you like everything, go ahead and give me a like. Try out these settings for yourself, especially if you're brand new. Try to help out the new guys as much as possible, because I definitely had some issues when I first started, but that's the hours and hours and hours of research I did before I even started my computer just to figure out all this bullshit, because I've been gaming on controllers and Xboxes since I was a wee lad, so, you know, go ahead and give those a try, and all you guys, you have a good day, alright?